Hi, my name is Neil Heffernan, and I would like to help you understand actually the different types of files that we actually spit out if you actually run a type of experiment. We actually have action level, problem level, and student level, as well as we actually have a file, sometimes called a prior file or sometimes a covariate file, where you actually get some extra stuff related to students before they began your experiment. But let me put this in context. I'll give you an example of actually a study that we just created. So we actually did with my colleague and friend um, Sydney DeMello, a study with actually the teacher Kim Kelly, where we actually had three different conditions. Um, in all cases, we actually gave a video, or in all cases, if you got three right in a row, excuse me, if you made an error in the first three items on a skill builder, we would actually assign you to one of these three conditions. Two of them that had videos and one that didn't have a video. It was just a little motivational video. We've updated that now, actually, and I'll show it to you. The problem set structure is quite complicated. I'm not going to try to explain that right now, but the main idea is, as shown in this slide here, after you first actually after you've actually indicated that you can see video, and if you get some stuff wrong, you will actually get assigned to actually watching a little motivational video. I'll play it for a second.
Hi, I'm from the assessments team, and this is just a short video to remind you that math can be a subject that all students can be successful in.
All right, so there was an experiment that was conducted about whether we were comparing a Dweckian sort of mindset versus a Peckrin-inspired mindset. I'll show you, I think we have these two different videos. Let's not get into the actual individual conditions, but the videos differed by this motivational construct, but they're different. All right, so after you've created an experiment like this, you will actually get coming back to this, an action level, problem level, and student level file. And the student level file is one row per student. A problem level file is really one row per student per problem. Okay, uh, and um, and then an action level will actually have the most number of rows because it's going to be one row per action per student. That is, for every problem, there can be multiple actions. Why don't we start at the student level? The student level is always the smallest. And so I'll go over here, and there's a student level file. And in this case, I'm looking where column A has the experiment ID. Notice the problem set number is the exact same. And if I scroll up and down, we'll see 209 actually students participate in this. I have one selected in red because I'm going to show this one student ID number 239, whatever that number is, in both a problem level file in a second. Here, I'll show to you. Here's a problem level file and an action level file. So let's just first actually focus on this student log file. So what's in here? Since it's one row per student, there's just some summary statistics like this student actually was in a class where the release date was actually, what is this, November 11th, or no, November the 8th. You can tell the student right below it must be in the same class because it has the exact same release date, but you can tell that with other variables as well. There's a due date. Sometimes the teacher doesn't give a due date. There's always going to be a start time if the child actually started it and they clicked into it. And there will be an end time if and only if the student finished it. I can see down here, by the way, there is no end time for row 140. So the most important characteristic, since you have created an experiment, you really care about which kids were assigned to which condition. And our goal was, hey, if we actually give out these different motivational messages versus not, what you really care about is which condition were they assigned to. So I highlighted in yellow the thing you really care about, which is this is which condition. And that would be named treatment 1, 2, and control. If you were to go back and look at our study, you'd be able to figure that out because this guy says control. this guy says, I'll click on this guy says treatment number 2, and then this guy, the growth mindset 1, happens to be labeled as treatment number 1. There's a bunch of other stuff in here, which I'll just actually breeze over. Assignment section count. I think this is, this might be actually, I'm actually not even sure what that one is right now. This guy doesn't have a pretest, so these guys are all blank. What's some other stuff that's over here? We actually have condition time on task. That is, while they were in the condition, how long do they spend? You can actually have the average response time. That is actually how quickly are they answering across all the items in the condition. That could be really interesting to you. We have actually problem count. Actually, in this case, this student did 5 problems. How many within the condition? How many did they get right? In this case, 4. Total wrong, total correct after wrong is 1. I think these two added together will actually equal the problem within the condition. We actually have a count of how many attempts did they make within the condition. If they actually make lots of mistakes and have to ask for lots of hints, that attempt count will go up as they actually keep trying over and over again. Here you can see how many hints they asked for. This child actually asked for 4 hints total. We should be able to see that in the action logs in a second if you care. But there's a bunch of other questions in here, which I don't think I'll actually belabor, but there's a data glossary where you can learn about this sort of stuff. At the very end, I see we have an assessment reference assignment log ID, which will be different for every student. So this is the student file. Okay, for most experimental psychologists I know, they would love to operate with a file just like this, and they'd love to not actually have to really dig down into the lower level data. But sometimes, depending upon what your question is, like for instance, right after being assigned, if you want to figure out what is their response time on the next question, you'll actually have to dive down into the problem logs. This given student, by the way, actually started this problem set and they haven't been assigned to treatment. This first problem set, by the way, is when they were assigned. We just saw actually an example here. There was first a problem that actually has to do with checking to see, can you see video? And then and it would be like that. And so coming back over here, that is the check. That's what we call the video check. Actually, a little thing. In this case, the student typed in the answer WPI, and they were able to move on to the next. They were able to get assigned. In this particular infrastructure, we obviously don't want to assign children to actually a condition that actually possibly would actually give them a video if we knew they couldn't even see video. And that's why we have that set up. What I see has happened actually in this problem log is the first problem, they got it wrong. They then get actually, they wind up actually getting several correct in a row. I see the answer for the end of the assignment is like, thanks. And in this case, I think we're going to see, I think we actually see, I was expecting to see the okay was being said, thanks. Maybe we've, okay. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to actually belabor the point on why I don't know why it says thanks, but I can see they get something wrong, and then anyways, this is a problem level file. Key thing is which problems did they get right or wrong. You can see what their answers are. You can see their time to their first answer here. You might find that useful. There's a bunch of other details, and I won't actually belabor all the details, but you can see for every problem, how many attempts did they make. This first student that was all in this orange person, I can tell they didn't make a lot of attempts, but actually on this first time they got something wrong, they did make a few attempts. And then they actually get stuff right. in a row. Let's go look at the actions for this particular student. Remember, this particular student is this guy, 239, 289. Let's go over to action logs. I happen to have actually pulled that up right here, and we can see they started an assignment. They started it, they got it correct, they finished it, they continue selected, and they started a new problem. So here's a new problem. This is the problem where they actually had to ask for a bunch of hints, because you can see they started the problem, they got it wrong, and then got it right. The next actually problems, they started it and immediately finished, and so these are the three actions of starting, the problem opens. It's really important for you as a scientist sometimes to know, did they see the problem? Now they actually have to take an action and in this case, they typed something in and it was correct. And then this user winds up actually having their last actions over here. I should have colored these two orange, but the assignment was finished. So they completed this assignment after seeing those little messages. Anyways, I'm going to stop now, but actually, hopefully you actually have an idea of what actually action level, problem level, student level actually rows are. While I'm here, let me just say something. I alluded to the covariate file. There's another file that we sometimes, I think we started calling a prior file, but this would be variables about the student before the assignment even began. And we'll have stuff like how students have done on prior problems. And you could imagine how you might really want to know that. Kids that have actually done very well in their class and gotten lots of problems right in a row, or not a row, but on average, that those are different types of students that actually have made lots of errors. So of course you might actually want to use that as you do some, say, analysis of variance with some covariates that are appropriate for your analysis. All right, I'm going to stop, and I hope you actually have a slightly better understanding of the types of data that we're able to provide for you. Thank you.